Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is David Hanlon, aka the Laptop Legend, and today, day trading, I only made $1,000, but we got some really good news. I got my Schwab account back, and I was able to trade in that, but then I spent most of my day trying to figure out how to get my E-Trade account mostly fixed, and the good news is, guys, I got it mostly fixed. I still have to figure out how to day trade on there, but at least I have access to money to buy stocks within that account now. So because of that, I was able to add pretty big into some of my my favorite swing positions. So today I bought 100,000 shares of one stock, and I bought 130,000 shares of another stock. So I'm gonna be talking about that in today's video. I'm probably just gonna be mentioning what they are. I've done a lot of videos on them already, so I don't wanna dive in too deep on those, but just in case you guys wanna do some research on your own, I'll throw those tickers out there for you. And then I wanna talk about some of the stocks you guys need to watch for tomorrow because, man, that video yesterday, bro, if you were on RETC this morning, it absolutely went insane. It opened, had a huge gap up, and you know, I guess the rest is history. So I'm gonna talk about that and talk about the stocks that I think could do something similar tomorrow that you need to be keeping an eye on because, woo, it's crazy out there. Also, I'm gonna try to make this another quick video, so let's dive in to my laptop right now. All right, guys, so this is the chart for RETC today, and man, I mean, it was pretty obvious after that George Sharp tweet this thing was going to do something insane, but I did not expect it to gap up this much. I mean, it really stinks. If he had done this during the day, there would have been a massive spike that we could have ridden. Unfortunately, man, when it gaps up this much, I mean, it already I don't even know what that percentage is. I mean, that's, what is that, an 80% gap up? So I really did not feel comfortable buying huge size right at open. I was expecting it to gap up to like 9 or something like that. Maybe, you know, a whole penny. Nah, man, it gapped up to 1.3. Absolutely nuts. So I actually, I waited because I wasn't sure what this thing was going to do at open because it gapped up so high. Sometimes things gap up really high and then just go straight into a sell-off because everyone who overnighted it takes their profits because they're instant profits. But in this case, it sold off a tiny little bit and then bounced immediately off of a 128. And this is actually a lesson that I need to work on a little bit more, and I want to help internalize it for myself as well as for you guys. When you get a stock that gaps up a ton, sees a tiny dip, and then starts bouncing, that's a pretty good sign that it's going to keep running. So I should have taken an entry a little bit earlier here when it wasn't breaking down, because that's a good sign that there's still strength, there's still buyers, despite the fact that it gapped up 80%. And because of that, you know, I should have taken bigger size. I could have taken bigger size right here after it proved that it was still holding up. But I didn't. I ended up buying 50,000 shares, and I didn't get filled until right here at, you know, 1.4 cents. That's where I got filled. And then I ended up selling, but I sold a little late, and I think I got filled here on the downside. Let me see if I can see where it is. RETC, sell 50,000. Yeah, so I got filled. Okay, no, I got filled at 16. Okay, I guess I got a perfect fill there. All right, I got out at 16. But then what I did do was I waited for these rejections and the big red candles that came after that, and I absolutely nailed some dip buys with pretty decent size. You know, obviously not enormous size. I took 250,000 shares a couple of times on some of these dip buys, and you know, that is not a huge size with how cheap this stock is, but you know, it's a couple $1,000 position, which with how volatile it is, that's what helped get me to $1,000 on the day. And again, I called these out live in the Discord, so hopefully some of you guys made money on this, but this is a very great way of capitalizing on this volatility without chasing a ton, because when you get a stock that gaps up this much and then spikes up, you got to be careful. You can't stay holding here. So when you get some dips off of that and it starts to bounce, that can be a really great, quick, instant profit, guys. So I ended up buying 250,000 at 136, literally right here. So like I perfectly timed that wick, and then I sold 150,000 at 147, so right here, and then I sold the rest. I sold 50,000 at 144, and then 50,000 at 141. So I mean, beautiful trade there. And then I just kept doing that, guys. I kept dip buying this thing. So I bought more at 136. And then I ended up selling them at 1.4. I mean, there was a lot of dip buys on this stock, and it might look a little choppy, but if you're patient and you wait for the stock to go down, and then the ask comes down, you can buy on the ask right as it's reversing, guys. It's literally instant profit. You know, you get too many red candles in a row, it's a pretty easy buy down here. And worst case scenario, you cut and you lose, you know, whatever the difference is until you can fill on your cut. But honestly, I think it's great to see this type of volatility back in, and it's cool that these George Sharp plays are working so well. So this is still one that's definitely on the watch list, but it just kind of gets added to the, you know, the list. And I guess if he starts doing something with it, then it's going to get more interesting. But, you know, GVSI didn't really do much today because he didn't really talk about it today, if that makes sense. So I feel like they kind of fade off until he says something about it, and then they'll spike up. So it's something that you want to keep on your watch list, but I personally am not going to hold from these levels because I think, you know, it may fade back down to, I don't even know, man. I mean, that's a crazy fade off. Maybe it finds a bottom here and spikes back up. I don't know. But I guess we'll see, man. I guess we'll see. Maybe it's a decent swing for this. I'm personally not going to swing it from this area, but, you know, it is what it is. MEIL, this is the other one that he was a custodian of, and it's crazy, man. This thing got run up today. I don't even think he talked about it. So when he does talk about this thing, it can definitely see a huge spike. Hopefully we get a red day, man, with some type of pullback, because I really don't want to be buying up here, but I guess we'll see what happens. You know, I think he put in his court order for this, so definitely keep this one on your radar. If he tweets that it got approved, it's probably going to spike. But in the meantime, it has a lot of room to fall until he does. So again, I don't want to be holding it until that happens. Two potential shorts for tomorrow. Both of these are actually OTC stocks. ETCG, this is one of them. And this is a stock that has run up a ton along with Ethereum and I guess, or Ethereum Classic. You can see just how overextended this thing is. 4 huge green days, one after another. And it honestly was pretty nice because it closed right you know, into a nice bounce you can see on the intraday chart, which means it'll be easier for it to go red tomorrow, and especially, you know, if it starts breaking down past these levels, guys, it could be really juicy for a short. I mean, you don't even have to take big size to make good money on this. There is a long way down, so this is a high watch for a short. The other potential short is HTZGQ, guys. This is also up a lot. Also up a lot from, you know, down in the 50-cent area all the way up at 4. So this thing could easily fall down to $3 tomorrow. I mean, there's a lot of downside, guys, and it doesn't even have to tank that much for you to make good money on it. You know, if you take 1,000 shares short, 2,000 shares short, it really adds up if you get a decent amount of drop on there. So that's what I'm going to be looking to do kind of right out of the gate. Both of those, I feel like could see some panics right out of the gate. So I'll be watching for that. A couple of stocks that you want to keep an eye on because they may keep moving tomorrow is TEGR. This is one of them. And this popped up literally right at the end of the day. And it just, I mean, it was insane, guys. This closed up, I guess, after coming back down. It still closed up 684% on the day because they announced an LOI for some type of merger, I guess, a letter of intent for some type of merger. So this is one you want to keep on your watch list, but it's up a lot, so it needs to display a lot of strength, and it needs to have enough volume to make it worth your while, because with how cheap it is, you know, it really didn't trade that much volume. So you got to be careful on this one, but should be interesting tomorrow. Maybe it just fades off, not sure, but it's one that I want to watch. And the other one I want to watch is GBHL. GBHL. This one closed very strong, closed up 187% on the day. I think it was in terms of their filings potentially, you know, becoming current, and that's been a big deal recently. You can see just an epic breakout closing right at high days. So I hope this turns into a multi-day runner. It closed really strong. I didn't overnight this because I don't like overnighting things that are up 180% because there's a long way to fall potentially on a gap down. But, you know, I think the potential is there for this to continue to run tomorrow. So if it does, you know, maybe it could pull a BPSR type move where, you know, you get a massive day 2, something like this. That would be awesome. So that's what I'm looking for on that. Those are the main, not Nasdaqs. Those are the main OTCs I'm watching for day trades. There were a few Nasdaqs moving today, guys. Well, actually, I guess there were probably a bunch. LEDS, this was the biggest one. I didn't really trade this at all. I'm not into Nasdaqs, but just in case you guys missed it somehow, this one you need to be watching. A few stocks moving after hours. We had, let's see, we had AWX moving up in after hours a little bit. I think we had IBIO moving up in after hours. This one had some news, so it's moving up on that. Definitely want to keep watching that. Let's see, IPWR. Okay, not doing too much. MTBC. Okay, also not doing too much. All right, those ones you don't really need to watch. So yeah, I guess that's the main ones. That's the main ones, guys. And then in terms of the swing trades, again, I'm trying to make this quick. In terms of the swing trades, guys, I added a few stocks. I want to review MDMP real quick. So it actually did crack that support level today, which was, a little bit frustrating because obviously it's been holding that level very nicely for a long time. It held that 15 support area and it cracked that a little bit today. But the good news is my support area of 12.5 is still holding right here. So that is still my risk. And if I have to cut because it breaks that risk, okay, it is what it is. That's totally fine. I'm willing to risk that because I still think all this needs is one nice big volume day, and it gets up to 25. So if you missed this before, I still think it's a good entry. It's honestly a better entry because you're closer to the risk. If you can get in at 13.2, man, that's a pretty good risk reward trade in my opinion. 10-to-1 risk reward. So I'm a fan of that. I'm still holding it. I haven't sold my position yet, even though I'm down on it. The two swings that I added to today are GMPR, and this is one that I talked about a while back. And I've still been holding some shares. Once it started consolidating, I started adding a little bit more. I actually didn't sell any here, and it looks like it's finding a base here again. So I actually added a ton of shares, guys. They were basically selling unlimited shares, all you can eat on the ask. So right here, you can see at 5.13, right in this area. I think it was right here. You can kind of see that little line. I was just buying as much as I could on the ask. So I ended up buying about 130,000 shares of this stock to swing. And I know that's a pretty big position, but this stock has proven that it has a lot of support at certain levels, and it likes to fade down and then spike up really quickly. So this is one of those ones that I like having a position in because I like being in before all the buying comes in because it's really thinly traded, and if you chase, you can easily get burned on this thing. So I think this is a pretty good swing. They still have some good things in the works from what I've heard, like in terms of as a company. I hear they still are trying to uplist. At least that's what I'm hearing. So I don't know when that's going to happen. I don't know if that's going to happen. I may not hold it that long, but it's nice to have a bigger position for the start of the move at least. I've heard 25-cent price target on this. I'm not sure it can get there, but the way the float is, it can really run hard. So I probably wouldn't hold it. Most of my shares to 25, if I'm being honest. I'll probably sell most of them before then, but I think it'd be cool to keep like 50,000 shares, at least up to 25. So, I would like to swing them that far ideally, but the remaining shares, I'm not sure where I'll take the profits, honestly. But depending on how it goes, I'll see how it goes. And I mean, this is kind of that support line. But this is one of those stocks that it fades off and then it likes to pop on volume. So I'm not sure I really have a risk. This might be a risk to zero play for me because I kind of just want to keep shares of this stock, and I really didn't have many before. So now I've got a good amount, and I'm grateful for that. And then obviously, if you guys have been watching my channel for any amount of time, MITI. This stock is my baby, and it cracked a little bit today, which was beautiful because it gave me the ability to add bigly. Add pretty bigly. So today I bought another 100,000 shares of MITI. I am now up to 300,000 shares of MITI. That is correct. 300,000 shares. And you guys can see, I guess you can't see because I don't know why it doesn't have it here, but they just filed their S1, guys. They are going to be working on uplisting very soon. This is the absolute best management in OTC that I have ever seen. I mean, there's literally there's multiple executives from multi-billion-dollar companies who are on the board and who are running this thing. And its market cap is like $59 million or something like that. And right now it has one clinic open. There's letters of intent to open 5 more this year. And after that, they're trying to open 50 within the next 5 years. I'm going to be holding a lot of shares for a good amount of time, like 3 to 5 years, but I wanted to be able to have some shares to take some profits, in the next 6 to 12 months. So that's kind of why I added here, because, if it spikes to $1 or $2 in 6 to 12 months, I would like to be able to sell, I don't know, maybe half my position. So sell half of my 150,000 shares and then keep the rest, and see how high I can go. Because again, their competitors, I mean, I've done so many videos on this, but their competitors are valued at I think it's 90 cents per share per clinic that they have open, and they're valued at $80 billion or something like that. They have 80 clinics open, something like that. So I mean, it's maybe not 80, maybe it was 15 billion. I forget. Multi-billion-dollar companies, they're competitors with very few clinics open. So I really believe that based on the management team, this company has the potential to get there within a couple of years. And if not a couple of years, a few years. If you guys are sticklers for the word couple, some people are. Couple in my book does not mean just 2. It could mean 2, 3, 4, just I guess a small amount, like a few, but you know, some people are sticklers for that word. I think in a few years this thing could be absolutely crazy. So that's why I added here, and I will continue to add with my day trading profits as long as it stays in this range, because I would rather be adding here you know, in this 28, 23, 25, whatever cent range, then be adding up here in the 45 cent range. Your money goes a lot less far in this area, and that's not to say that it's not still a good buy in this area, but I would rather be adding here than up here. So that's just me personally. Again, you guys feel free to do your research. Don't just blindly copy me because you think I'm a good trader. Definitely do your own research. I'm not a financial advisor. I can't give you advice on what stocks to buy, but I personally like this company, and I am invested pretty bigly in them. I mean, depending on what the stock price is, I mean, it's like 100K in there. So pretty awesome. I'm very grateful to have found this opportunity. I'm looking forward to when they uplist and when they open more locations. So I think it's just a matter of time. This thing can run like nobody's business, man. I mean, you guys can see this chart, and I know that was back in January and February, but I mean, this thing runs really hard when it gets volume, and it's not having any volume right now. So now's the perfect time to load up, in my opinion. So that's why I'm doing it. So that's pretty much it, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, let's grow better together. Preguntar, bebé, dime por qué te mientes. No puedes esconder todo lo que tú por mí sientes.